Rust held me hostage there, so I just quit. I was like, I'm not gonna be held hostage by a piece of shit game and its piece of shit time sink RNG. You know, it's already stole thousands of hours of my life. I'm not gonna give it another hour just so it can like try to find a bear across 25 grids. You know, I'm not gonna do on a horse. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna give them the guns and just say enjoy it. You know, fuck it, whatever. So, anyways, it is currently. Oh, good. It didn't get that late. It's right about when I wanted to go to bed to the minute. It's right to the minute. I wanted to go to bed at 2:30, and that's the way that it worked out. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for spending the time here today, guys. It was good to see the trio. I'm looking forward to Thursday, but take your days off while you can, because you know it won't be heavy. The day was pretty good. I got about what two bosses done on Remnant 2. Oh, sorry, I'll turn on my display capture here. There we go. I killed two bosses on Remnant 2, and I got cock blocked by the horrible, horrible, horrible third one. I mean, Dreamweaver was fine. I got her second phase, second try, but I didn't know there was a second phase. So now that I know there's a second phase, I'll probably kill her third try. I think most people get cock blocked to Dreamweaver. She seems like the hardest boss I've fought so far. But she seemed better designed, a lot better designed than a couple of the other worthless ass bosses I fought in that game. She's better designed definitely than like the butthole boss or I forget the other one that was really, really unacceptable, but there was another really unacceptable, shitty, bullshit time sink cash grab boss straight out of fucking Dark Souls, you know? And I forget what the other one was, but that one sucked. That one took an hour. I couldn't believe they ruined their beautiful game with those horrible Elden Ring bosses. What's wrong with them? I don't know. I think I think they've for 50 years they've done bosses, so they just don't know how to do video games without horrible quarter stealing bosses. I think. I believe that's what it is. They're just stuck in their ways, and they can't really not steal our quarters with one shots and bullshit bosses that we don't want to fight, and boss mechanics that we don't want to learn, or any of this other stuff. You know. And so yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they ruined their perfect tens and drop two whole points off with bad bosses. Like look, like you can see it right here. If we pull Remnant 2 right now, Metacritic, you're gonna see it dropped at least a point and a half when they realized how really bad that, like right before it was sitting 9.8. When the world figured out how really shitty and garbage their bosses are, everybody thinks that my opinion is unique, or that nobody else thinks this way. But the only reason I say this stuff is because I've read it or heard it or watched 50 billion videos saying it. These opinions I have, they aren't mine. You know what I'm saying? So we can see the Metacritic is pretty good. It's sitting at an 80, but they lost their 2 points with the users. They lost 3.3 points. But with the review with the industry, they only lost 2 points, same as I gave them. I said this game was an 82, which actually was the most kind anybody was to it. The bosses were worthless garbage, I would say. And so if we go like if we search for the word boss in this and we see where it pops, um, too many idiotic puzzles and underwhelming bosses. Yeah, should be free on PS Plus. Yeah, not a good sequel. I think I kind of agree too. It's like that terrible plot, cringe dialogues, boring prologue, and bad single player gameplay made me uninstall this game after 2 hours of playing it. No, yeah, since I like the first one, I will give it another shot when my girlfriend buys it. But right now, oh my god, stop throwing these games to get easy money. It looks so low effort that makes me sad. Yeah, terrible performance optimization. I would say that is accurate. Yeah, I've completely rehauled the settings of Remnant 2 like 7 times. But what else is new? We're about to do Starfield, which is locked in 30 FPS, and if I can't change the display adapter refresh rate on Starfield, I'm gonna be unhappy, pappy. I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna be unhappy. I paid $3,000 for fucking 1440p in 2023, and I don't think Bethesda gets to tell me how that goes. I spent my 3 grand. I don't think Bethesda gets to tell me what happens or what doesn't happen. I think I'm gonna maybe the first 20 minutes I'm gonna get into that INI when they let me install that game. I'm gonna take a look at it and I'm gonna go on the forums and I'm gonna spend about 2 or 3 hours wasting my life away on trying to hack a bullshit game just to try to get it to work. And I know that's gonna happen. I'm positive of it. So because it's always happened with every Bethesda game they've ever done. So my whole appreciation of Starfield is sitting on the possibility of removing the frame rate cap, which I don't know. This time around, I think Bethesda's ready to sacrifice their morals and principles. I think Todd's ready. I think they're all about 60 to 68, and they're all geriatric in the retirement home like Bill Gates, like my mother and stuff. And I don't think they care about making a good product or not. I don't think they care. I don't think they care at all. So if they really want to die on that frame rate hill, I'm gonna demand my $100 back. And that's not good because that's like months of fucking stream that I was planning on that may not work. But I'm getting more and more scared by the day with this. If we take a look at the current woes with Starfield, Bethesda and Microsoft and Sony are pretty set on locking us between 30 and 60 frames per second when the industry norm was 120 frames in 2017. But their dead set is setting us at 30. Here we are now at 240, and they're still trying to lock at 30. And a lot of the community is boycotting Starfield because of this. The boycott, right? The Starfield boycott, because it's like, man, that frame rate, man, that frame rate thing. Yeah.
I've been a diehard Bethesda fan for a very...
Yeah, me too, but this one makes me real nervous. Like, I can show you what I'm talking about, right? In any Bethesda game, you have to understand how to hack Windows and hack games if you have any hope of being a successful gamer. And one of the first things you must learn is the INI file for Bethesda, because Bethesda is the worst developer that ever stepped to the market. Now, they're also the best, just like Rust. But, I mean, they're also the worst developer that ever stepped to the market. They don't know how to make a video game. They don't know what a frame rate is. They don't know what graphics are. They don't know, I mean, they don't know a lot about physics. They don't know how to make a good bow and arrow. They don't, I mean, there's a lot of really bad problems with Bethesda that I'm a little bit scared of. And I'm glad that Starfield is a sci-fi game, because if they were trying to step with another Elder Scrolls, I don't think the combat's going to swing this time. They're going to have to evolve. If they step with ESO combat again, I don't know, man. I think Elder Scrolls might take a hit finally. We were all kind of waiting for the final shoe to drop, and I think it's frame rate. I think Bethesda's going to die on the frame rate hill. They need that $1 billion. Like, it's because understand what they actually do is when 2 or 3 million of us. I mean, what's $100 times 3 million? They're at like 4 million pre-orders for Starfield right now. So let's pull the calculator, and you'll begin to understand the math here and what these fucking corporate despots are actually doing when they steal and shit. So Starfield right now, they've sold like 2.6 million copies as of, I think, like 2 days ago or something like that. I don't know. That was the figure I saw, I think, at least. So that's 260,000 times, let's say the average is 80, because most people are buying the $100 copy. Most people are buying the $60 copy. So between that is the 80. So we say the average is 80, right? Because that is probably right around where the average is what Starfield actually costs the average consumer. It's like probably $83.70 or something like that. So that is, of course, $208 million, right? And that's just what they sold in pre-orders. When the other 3 million copies sell, they jump up to about 450, and then they sell about another 500 million over the next 5 or 10 years, and they reach usually about $1 billion with these big AAAs, somewhere around there. It takes them about 5 or 10 years, but they make about $1 billion usually off of single players like like Remnant 2, Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, all the AAA-ness, right? And so, I mean, this is the money that they make off just the pre-orders, but they lock to 30 FPS, and that's the problem, because $1 billion is not 30 FPS. and it's like the worst video game industry scam ever committed is the Bethesda frame rate lock. And so when we catch them doing this, and the entire community fought it since Morrowind, which was, by the way, 1998, guys. 1998? Yes. 1998. What year was Morrowind, right? Since Morrowind, we've been fucking with this frame rate cap. It was 2002. I was 4 years off. I'm sorry. So for 21 years now, we've been dealing with this exact thing that I'm about to show you, which is in the documents folder. You're going to find games. When you look at games, you're going to find Bethesda stuff like 76, Fallout 4, or eventually you'll see Starfield on this list in about a month. And so normally people would say Fallout 4 is probably their most current title that's actually released. So let's go take a look at like what I'm talking about here, which is the Fallout 4 INI, which is a configuration folder. Any modder or any Bethesda fan knows this well. But as you can see, there's something called the iPresent interval, which if we pull the Google iPresent interval, this iPresent interval is a $1 billion scam committed by every single triple anus developer out there, including From Software. They all do this. They lock the frame rate at 30 to 60 frames per second, even though we all pay between $2,000 and $3,000 for a computer. And this is industry theft. It is the rich people thumbing their nose at us. It's them stealing from us. It's very bad. And on top of it, the community really hates it. So they go into the INI and they change all the stupid shit that the fucking company sets as the default. And they set their INI file to read only. So because if Bethesda ever catches you messing with the INI file, the actual software itself is designed to overwrite the INI file if you do anything to it. Right? If you do anything to it, it just oversaves you. The minute that you X out of this, if I don't set this to read only, it immediately resets the entire fucking folder to what it was before you made it a change, right? Because Bethesda really doesn't want you thinking about how they stole $1 billion with frame rate. Any more than Face Punch doesn't want you thinking about how they stole $500 million instead of optimizing their client. They really don't want you thinking about this a lot, but some of us actually really have to fucking deal with it. So I'll pull the proof here. You know what I'm saying? Playing with iPresent interval 1 locks my FPS at 48. iPresent interval 0 puts FPS above 100, but breaks the dialogue, lockpicking. Logging FPS at 60 and NVIDIA panel results in 60 FPS, but load accelerator stops working. iPresent interval equals 2, or reportedly for 120 Hertz, would be perfect, but it just results in black screen for my 144 Hertz monitor that I paid $1,900 for. $1,900 for that 144 Hertz monitor back in 2020. How much was 144 Hertz in 2020? And you're gonna see it. Yeah, it's roughly about $700 or more. Yeah, about 330 pounds, or yeah, it's like whatever it is. It's like, you know. Oh no, this is the wrong thing. I'm looking for an actual price. So, but yeah, 144 hertz monitor now. I mean, buy 144 hertz monitor. Right now, 144 hertz monitor has definitely gotten cheaper. See it? About 220. The industry norm now, obviously, is 144 hertz, but all Bethesda games are frame rate locked to 30. All of them. From Morrowind to Oblivion to Skyrim to Fallout 4 to 76 to Starfield. Every single Bethesda game across all consoles are locked to 30 FPS. This is one of the reasons why I would incarcerate some Bethesda developers. It is a full-blown direct theft from children, and I believe they should be incarcerated over it, unfortunately. But I mean, this is kind of an extreme opinion. It just sucks. When I see corporate billionaires stealing from children, I think jail. But I actually really suspect that most of the world actually really loves billionaires and want to suck their dick and think that they can kill people and get away with it. And that's the actual reality of it. I think most billionaires can just freely kill if they want, and I don't think the cops prosecute them. I don't think the humans even ever report them. I think there's occasionally lawsuits if people think that they can get the rich people's money away from them. But I think most rich people can cap somebody. Like remember how Donald Trump bragged about how he could cap somebody on Fifth Avenue and still earn the presidency. That was because it had already been ordained. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, he was also right. Billionaires can cap people on Fifth Avenue and walk on down that fucking sidewalk, and the cops are going to give them the pass and bust the next guy that's standing next to the dead body. Wish I was kidding, but that's happened a lot before. We have some proof. So, anyways, so, like 175 hertz is sitting about 1100 right now, but you got to remember, back in 2020, 144 hertz was about $1,900. It was not cheap. We weren't there yet. I mean, it was 1900 for the best on the market, maybe 700 for the worst. It was like $700 to $1,900 for a 144 hertz monitor, which is one of the reasons why this Starfield debacle theft and the stuff that Bethesda's getting up to is unacceptable. And so Mr. Starfield skeptic, who's more of a believer about Bethesda than I am, which is hard to... Thank you, Jack Sather. I've never seen you before. Looking debonair in your nice NASA suit that you got from the Michael store. And I liked and subbed to your channel. Looking pretty good, I hope that you go far. Because Bethesda boys, you got to have a special kind of crazy insanity to be a Bethesda boy. That's like accepting that you're going to spend 10,000 hours without ever meeting another living being. And so whenever you see some weird, shitty asshole like Patrician TV, you got to kind of wonder, like, I like Private Sessions, the Bethesda reviewer. He's Patrician TV's co-op partner, right? I love Private Sessions because his IQ is off the chart. But Patrician's a fucking moron. Right-wing, dumbered fucking moron. And he's also, on top of it, misogynist and bigoted, too. But Private's gay, Private's smart, Private's not an asshole, and Private isn't a bigot. That was a lot easier for me to accept than Patrician TV, who reminds me of a Republican gamer friend that I have.
Very long time.
So this guy's very upset about Starfield, and so am I. I bought it already. But I mean, they're going to lock it to 30 frames per second, and can I change iPresent interval? Can I change present interval is one of the ways that Bethesda commits $1 billion theft every about half a decade. So understand, present interval is how Bethesda goes about their $1 billion theft. If you don't know what it is, you can type it into Google and find out, but it's called present interval. It's the refresh rate. It's how Bethesda steals. So this is the advice I got from PC Gamer, which talks about this, right? There's a lot of problems with Bethesda. And graphical options are mostly limited to the launcher, which is an incredibly bad form of theft. It means that you have to relog the game every single time you want to change a graphical option, which steals thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. And the bottom line for Bethesda is they don't give a living shit if you're actually playing Skyrim, as long as you're wasting your time around Skyrim in some way or another. Their job has been successful. And even the investors will tell them it doesn't matter if they play the game or not. Just make sure that they're talking about the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's something Bethesda's very good at. So you can change the FOV, but that's true of almost any game. But what you can't do with most games is change the refresh rate. And so you can also set a custom resolution, though I don't recommend it. Fraps has been capping out at 60 frames per second as I play, which obviously isn't ideal for folks who want to fully utilize their 120 hertz, which was current in 2015. 2015 was the last time 120 hertz was current. That was 8 years ago. People think that that 120 hertz is new. No, man. Last time 120 was considered the industry norm was 2015. It was already 144 by 2017. So understand, this thing about, I have a 120 hertz monitor. This has been a deal with gamers for 9 years. 9 years now that Bethesda and the big triple anus have been ripping us off pretty bad. So we had to go in to figure out how to mod the INI folder to change iPresent interval from 1 to 0, hit save, and let your frame rate run free, because Bethesda locks your frame rate to make sure that you just don't finish their game, that you just don't have much fun, that you play it again, that you're unhappy with it and you're talking about it a lot, that you're thinking about it, that you're unhappy that the frame rate's locked. They want you going into their INI, and they want you thinking about how you can break their industry theft. Todd wants you to figure out how to unlock Bethesda titles, because he himself cannot unlock Bethesda titles. It sets a standard that the rest of the developers can't meet. And what's actually going on in the background is, like, they're all in a big fucking blackboard, big black room, boardroom meeting with a big black table, kind of like network, and there's some guy proselytizing about AI or something like that. And they're all in a circle like some kind of cult, but they're all billionaires, and it's all Gabe Newell and, Bobby Kotick and all the big world's corporate thievery, software despots and stuff that rape children and lock their Bethesda clients to 30 FPS just to see if we're smart enough to unlock the frame rate and stuff. And so all that stuff, right? And I wish I was kidding about this. So we're going to go see what Mr. Starfield skeptic Jack Sather has to say about this. But I'm nervous. And I also have to go to bed. I have to go to bed in 8 minutes here, guys. So we have 8 minutes. But hopefully Jack can entertain us for this 8 minutes before I bail.
And boy, am I excited for Starfield. Kind of. I've done thousands of hours into the worlds of Elder Scrolls and the Fallout games, and my faith in them as a developer has pretty much been unwavering until...
Are you kidding me? Every Bethesda game I ever played since Morrowind required at least 100 hours of time learning how to mod. At least 100 hours. Morrowind was like that. Oblivion was like that. Skyrim was like that. Fallout 3 was like that. Fallout 4 was like that. 76 was like that. New Vegas was like that. Starfield was going to be like that. 800 hours of my life I have spent learning how to deal with Bethesda clients. The billionaire theft might be okay to the billionaires, but it's not okay with me. I know the difference. I've lost 800 hours of my life just messing with INI files for Bethesda games. I'm not stupid. They can lie to your face. This guy can drink the copium and copium Kool-Aid and tell you that all the games were good. But I mean, some of us actually were good gamers. Some of us did hack Morrowind 20 years ago. Some of us are actually good at this, and it's not this guy.
The fateful Fallout 76. That and
every time they take a shot at 76, I want to take a shot at them, because 76 is the best thing Bethesda's ever made. 76 runs 50 billion circles around Fallout fucking 4.
Being resold Skyrim for the 14th damn time. Like, it's been 10
Don't buy it.
years. Just make
Don't buy it. You know how many times I bought Skyrim? 3. 1 for my PlayStation, 1 for my PC, 1 for my 360. 3.
next game already.
If you bought 15 copies of Skyrim, I've got some swampland in Florida to sell you for really cheap.
I remember seeing Starfield for the first
You,
time
sir,
at E3
are a sucker.
2018,
You're drinking that Bethesda Kool-Aid pretty deep.
an absolutely legendary presentation where
It was. Except it wasn't as good as the Fallout 4 presentation, which is when 4 months before release, they said, hey guys, turns out we've been secretly developing Fallout 4 for 7 years, and we lied about it, and it turns out we're really bad liars, and we just really didn't want to tell you that we had a game coming because we just wanted to see what the effects would be, which I don't blame Todd. That's actually genius, right? So they announced, oh, Fallout 4 is due in 4 months, and all the fanboys creamed their panties right on stage, literally came in their pants and started jizzing all into the air, you know, like some fucking Spider-Man spewing web everywhere. It was just disgusting because like for some reason Bethesda wanted to lie and hide the fact that Fallout 4 existed, and it was crazy when it hit. And I just happened to be watching that day. And I watched that when he dropped it. He was like, yeah, it turns out Fallout 4 is due in 4 months. And they literally jizzed their pants on camera. The entire crowd jizzed their pants. They were like 4 months, not 4 years. Usually it's 4 years. What do you mean 4 months? 4 months? And he was like, 4 months. We've been working on it for 7 years. We didn't tell you. We lied to you. We sued people. We NDA'd. We disclosure. We kept it secret, like a rape or a child molestation or something, for 7 years. We kept it hidden. And then 4 months before launch, we finally told you it was coming. And this was the greatest launch in history, hands down. There's never been anything even remotely like it. What do you mean we don't have to wait 5 years? It's coming in 5 months? And it was a great thing. It was a great thing Todd did, but it was also an incredibly bad, low down, dirty, stinking, rotten lie. He lied to us for 7 years that they weren't making anything at all. So the Bethesda fanboys gave up and came to World of Warcraft. And now all the Bethesda boys are toxic because they came to my circles. Bethesda boys were never toxic till they met me.
I got way too excited for multiplayer Fallout 76. And then I saw Starfield and I was
Me too.
like, I don't know.
And I was happy with 76. Been happy since the minute I bought it. No issues with it. I don't know why everybody else falls that way. I mean, I know why, because they don't know about iPresent interval. You want to know why everybody hates 76? They don't know about iPresent interval. And I'm dead serious. 90% of the people who play Bethesda games have no idea the INI file even exists, right? So all of them sit there happily chugging along at 30 frames per second for 20 years. And I just think, wow, didn't you think to ever Google or even maybe look into it or something? But nah, I'd say about 90% of the Copium Bethesda fanboys are definitely drinking that Kool-Aid and just aren't even aware what an INI file even is.
I don't know what that was, but it looks...
But I know what it is. The greatest video game theft of all time. iPresent interval. Bethesda's frame lock. It's the most egregious attack software maybe ever released. Is designed to steal billions of dollars of consumers' money and provide a 30 frame rates in return, 30 frame rate in return. And it does so very well, very successfully, I might add. So then there's the 10% of us or so who play Skyrim at 190 to 280 to 300 frames, right? And then there's the rest of the 90% of the people who play the game who sit at 30. I thought 76 was like almost the greatest game ever made. The low IQ, non-200 IQ people just think that 76 is garbage because they just never bothered to Google why the frame rate was so bad. When I did, I found my answer, which I already knew, but I had just forgotten, which was iPresent interval, which is something I've been fucking with since the Morrowind age of PCs back in the Pentium 2 era. I've been messing with iPresent interval, billionaire software theft since the fucking iPresent interval, billionaire software theft. And I reiterate, iPresent interval, billionaire software theft over 11 massive platinum titles, right? iPresent interval, the worst theft in the history of gaming. And any Bethesda gamer will tell you the exact same. And so this is what we're going to see up here on September 6th. And I'm nervous, and this guy's nervous. We're all nervous. We're all nervous because they locked the frames at 30.
And then, as if our bread wasn't buttered enough, Todd drops the freaking Elder Scrolls 6 teaser trailer. And the crowd goes wild!
I feel no emotion whatsoever. Skyrim was a disappointment to me.
And my God, Todd just knows how to...
Compared to Oblivion?
Get the people going, huh? I know he has his...
Graphics were great. Legendary Edition is the best graphics I've ever seen on a single player title, I think. You know what I'm saying? Legendary Skyrim is the best looking game I've ever fucking seen on a console. It's in 4K. It just smokes. I mean, 76 or ESO looks better, but yeah. But anyways,
critics, but this guy really knows how to rev my gamer brain in.
But I mean, when I went from Oblivion, like I'm talking like I played Oblivion to completion a couple of weeks before Skyrim completed because my best friend was doing that as well. Neither one of us had the Skyrim achieves on. I'm sorry, the Oblivion achieves on our 360 achievement list, right? So we both worked together at the same time on um, the 360 versions, Game of the Year versions of um, Oblivion. Oblivion, right? Which, by the way, I don't know if, to the other Bethesda fans here, Oblivion is going to be remastered. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Oblivion is going to be remastered. I don't know if you guys heard, but it's confirmed. They're remastering Oblivion. Oblivion is like 10 times the game that Skyrim is. Morrowind is like 10 times the game that Oblivion is, and until they get back to their Daggerfall roots, they're not going to do too well. And the further they get towards Skyrim and the further away they get from Daggerfall, the worse they're going to fucking do.
Is even more floaty than Skyrim, and it also has a few weird and kind of niche approaches to.
You mean bug? You mean bugs? It's not niche. It's not a feature. It's a bug. The combat is full of bugs. Terrible, terrible hitbox registration, collision box registration error because the game's from 1999 or something.
How it tackles its RPG systems. For instance, in Oblivion, you only upgrade certain attributes by performing those certain attributes, and then you can't really specialize in those attributes unless you do that, which makes a lot of time spent.
I don't think they should remake Oblivion, but I'm fucking happy that they are.
Doing things like jumping around the world so you can get your agility up. You know, I remember being...
I'm excited about this. I can't believe they're making an Elder Scrolls Oblivion remake. I have a lesson to teach about this. I have a friend who is slowly replaying all 20 years of World of Warcraft again. And he is right now currently halfway through Wrath of the Lich King, and he's already thinking about Kata. And I don't know why you would ever do World of Warcraft twice, but those poor classic fanboys, I have so much sympathy for them. They're like, now at this point, it's like their feet have been fused to the hamster wheel, or like I'd say super glued, right? It's as if Blizzard super glued their fucking feet and hands to the hamster wheel and then started cracking the whip and forcing them to run. But they can't run, so they just start falling and tumbling over and over and over and over again in a forward circle because they can't run. Their hands are super glued to the fucking hamster wheel. But I mean, that's what that's like. If you're stuck in the WoW Classic scene, you're gonna do 40 years of crappy World of Warcraft, and it's not 40 years of expansions. It's 20 years of expansions twice. And my God, I was happy to leave the first time. Some of my friends are still up there in the middle of goddamn Wrath, and I'm like, why? Why would you ever do this again? Don't you want to play a new game? You know?
A younger player back in the day.
And obviously, they don't. They don't want to play a new game. They just want to return back to the summer of 2004 when they got their first handy in the back of the Nissan or whatever, and and everybody's still nice to them because they haven't turned into right-wing pieces of shit who are bigoted yet and all this, and everybody's cool with each other still. Everybody's smoking weed and everybody's happy, and the billionaires hadn't stole all the world's money yet. And all this stuff, and daddy's footing all the bills and working for all the bills, so baby gets to sit there and play Oblivion, right? Just like me. But I'm saying, like,
and concoct.
Like, I don't really need an Oblivion remake. I don't know why. I don't know why that came up, frankly.
Skip to a few years later, in 2021, when my gamer heart, and I'm sure many of yours, had been dragged through the mud and the muck of mediocrity and overhyped, broken-ass video game.
21 was fine. 22... I'm sorry, 21 was the bad year. 22 was okay, because there was Elden Ring and New World. New World was good for about a year, I would say.
Our hearts hearts were much more reluctant to get excited about new video games. No longer the hearts that just pre-order willy-nilly.
But ooh, 21 was just a foul stinker of a year. I can't even think of a game from that year. RDR2. RDR2. That's it.
Even for GameStop and Taco Bell's exclusive cosmetic items. That year, the official teaser trailer for Starfield
It's funny you should say RDR2 as they put, what's his name up on the screen.
dropped. And I don't know about you,
I knew it was coming, so I said it first.
but I wasn't excited. I'm not saying it looked horrible.
I am not excited for Starfield at all. I'm just excited for another Bethesda title. But God, the conception, I'm sorry, the concept is not one I am very, very fond of. I know because I did this already with EVE Online and No Man's Sky, and I know that it's just not that fun. These guys, it's a new frontier for EVE Online is a new frontier for Todd Howard. But it's not a new frontier for me.
Horrible. It just
No Man's Sky is a new frontier for Todd Howard. But it's not a new frontier for me, and it wasn't for the guy who made No Man's Sky either. But for Todd Howard, it's brand new territory because he has bad taste in games.
didn't faze me. It wasn't much to go off of besides a pretty inaccurate release date. They show a small bunker / outpost like one you'd see in Fallout, with a robot roaming around like one you'd see in Fallout, and then your character getting into a spaceship with the graphics of, you guessed it, Skyrim, still. And then last year, in 2022, a 15-minute gameplay reveal dropped, and I went from unfazed to borderline uninterested.
Yep, uninterested.
This was bad gameplay to show off.
Yeah. No Man's Sky, that one video was so good, but the 20 videos before that one video that was good, where you take off in a jet into the universe and stuff off of the planet, right? And you fight in a big jet battle, or a big X-Wing fight up in the stars and stuff. That was a great video, but the 20 videos before that No Man's Sky video weren't too good. They really didn't make the game look too good.
Sure, they had a good start with Todd Howard and his brown leather drip.
When I look at Todd Howard, I think of somebody's pissant bigger brother who gives his little brother noogies. He has that face. He looks like the big brother used to give his little brother noogies, doesn't he?
But as soon as the gameplay started, it looked almost identical to
Yeah, that does look a lot like fucking featureless Fallout, doesn't it? He's got a point. It's that same crappy color of, what is it? It's like a white black. It's not gray. It's like black with a lot of white on it, I think. Not black. It's like, yeah, it's black. It's like black with a lot of white on it. It's not a very good look. It comes across as this weird, shitty, like dark gray, dark black color of green that isn't very pleasing to the human eye. This color of green isn't very good. It's not aquamarine. It's like puke green.
Fallout gameplay we'd seen 8 years prior. It literally looks like you're leaving a Fallout shelter into an irradiated
Oh, that frame rate, man.
wasteland. I know it's supposed to be an alien planet, but it's like, it just looks like post-apocalyptic America again. A lot of textures looked blurry and unrendered. Pop-in was happening feet away from your character. The scanning and mining looked virtually the same as No Man's Sky.
I forgot about this. I forgot that they think that that's going to be the core of the game. I look at that and I think, when can I stop doing that right away?
Bugs were moving around like all Bethesda creatures.
Dual Universe was like this too. I had a friend. Well, he's not a friend, but I have an acquaintance who I've talked to before, anyways. His name is Marquis Dragon, and Marquis is currently playing EVE Online, I think, but he was doing Dual Universe for like a year. And I pop into Marquis' stream every once in a while, and I try to say hello. Oh, he had an injury. That sucks. Yeah. I have sustained a very serious neck injury. That's unfortunate. Oh,
Marky Dragon?
I'm sorry, Marky, man.
universe. Pardon the pun, but
anyways, he played Dual Universe for like a year, and I was gonna pull one of his videos for Dual Universe, but he had a bit of drama there and all that. But Dual Universe also has the laser mining thing, and I can't think of anything more boring in the entire history of gaming except for laser mining. I don't know what the No Man's Sky guy was thinking, but that's not a good enough gameplay loop.
buggy as hell. And what in the frame rate is going on? It's like running like 20 frames, maybe max? How did
20 max.
this get approved? The guns didn't look like they had any effect on
approved? You're implying that they care, or they don't care?
Human beings. The gunplay looked exactly like Fallout 4.
It looks really bad.
Pretty rough. I mean, look at these shotgun shots. And these new laser bullets looked like they'd feel like shooting an empty Nerf gun. I remember at this point in the trailer, I was visually perturbed. I was angry. Fortunately, the rest of the trailer is pretty alright. The spaceship customization looked intricate, the space combat looked intense, living inside your spaceship like it's your home was super intriguing, the gear looked cool, and there was plenty of montages of exploring that genuinely looked interesting. But it was a hard recovery from what was initially shown in the trailer. Then, just recently, in 2023, we got a brand new trailer along with a 45-minute long presentation called the Starfield Direct. And I'll have it linked below.
Alright guys, 4 minutes and I'm gonna go log.
In case you want to watch it for yourself and form your own opinions. I'm also not necessarily going to go in order here, but I think the Starfield Direct is a great jumping off point for talking about what I'm excited about in Starfield and also what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, well, it's a 30 FPS Redfall ripoff. You know what I'm saying? They straight copy Redfall for Starfield. It's not good.
The Direct had another great start. Todd up front, no leather this time, but
he's had way too much plastic surgery, and in about 20 years, he's gonna look like Donald Trump. You can see it. He's even got the fake tan Donald Trump Republican bullshit going on. How do you get a Republican Jew? And I'm sorry, that's a really racist comment, I suppose. But I'm not talking about Jews. I'm talking about Republicans. How do you get a Republican Jew? That's like saying Jews for Hitler. Or, you know, women for Andrew Tate. How do you get a Jewish Republican in 2023? What in the literal fuck is wrong with this asshole?
Some cool bracelets and the same amount of points put into charisma. And this time, Bethesda's production level was through the roof. Everything.
I mean, they're from Bethesda, Maryland. It's that hood. It's Quaker Shaker territory. That's right wing. That's a right wing area.
It was so
I know because I grew up in it.
Clean and vibrantly white. Like, I thought Mike...
I grew up in the same place this guy did, maybe about 100 miles away, and I know exactly where he grew up. You know what I'm saying? I lived about 100 miles away in New Jersey, and I know exactly where they come from. We used to call these particular people the cultural elite, but we used to call them what is it? East Coast intellectuals, right? And one of the hidden things about East Coast intellectuals is they tend to be right-wing. People from Vancouver, or sorry, not Vancouver, what is it? Montpelier, Vermont, right? People from Vermont, people from Jersey, people from Connecticut, people from Pennsylvania. Very right-wing territory, that. My half brother, he's dead now. My half brother passed away, but he grew up in a town called Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, which I visited about 15 times. And my stepbrother, my cousin, my half brother's kid was a friend of mine, and so I used to go to Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, and I remember that my half-brother married an Italian lady who didn't speak English. And our family had, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, my family, I remember it too, my family, my mom and my dad and I made the trip up to my half-brother's place a bunch of times. That's my dad's other kid. He's dead now. And the reason why is he had married an Italian lady who was my mare. And my half-brother came to our house one time to meet me when I was like six years old. And I had an Italian mare that my mom had had contracted to help take care of me while she was working during the day. And my half brother fell in love, and married this Italian nanny lady, and they had a kid, my cousin, who has also passed away now. All three of them are passed away now. My entire family is dead except for except for my mother and a few of my cousins. And where I'm going with this is like we went up to Jim Thorpe like 15 times because when my half brother tried to bring a non-white, non-American person into Jim Thorpe, he got bad, right wing, Fourth Reich, Pennsylvanian conservative judgment. And they were doing stuff like leaving flaming shitbags on his fucking doorstep because he married an Italian lady. And that's the area that Todd comes from. That's who runs Bethesda. That's why their name is Bethesda. They're talking about a town in Maryland called Bethesda, Maryland. Very right wing, very uptight, very conservative, very, white.
Microsoft bought Bethesda, not Apple. If you didn't get that, that's just inside baseball. You don't need to get that one. I also think it's funny that it's coming from Bethesda, like the cleanest looking production from the studio that brought you some of the jankiest games.
I have been on too long here, guys. I have to go to bed because I have to be up here in like 6 hours, and I'm so sorry. I've got to go to bed. I can't stay up any later in this. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for spending time in my stream. One last time, you've been watching SkyCat.live, and I know that I fucked around for the last hour of the 15-hour stream. So I know that I look so lazy to you guys, and I just sit and watch videos all day. But it was the last 40 minutes of the 15-hour stream. I've been at it since 2 in the afternoon. No, wait. Today I started at... Yeah, it was exactly 2. I walked from 11 until 1. I took a shower, fired up at like 1:50, and I went from 2 p.m. until 2 a.m. And we are 13 hours and 20 minutes in. And I must stop here as I will be back tomorrow to play EVE Online all day. I let my guns and my base and my Rust stuff go because I don't like feeling like I'm possessed by a game or that the game controls me in any way or form. So I just threw my guns away on my corpse and let the zombies eat it. And I took the locks off my base that mattered. There's still bases if I need them, if there's some problem or something. I think 11 or not. Now I've got 10 bases left. I think 10 bases all in all. There's the 5 that I have bags for, and then there's 6 small 2x1s all over the rest of the server. So that all resets in about 2 days time. When the wipe day hits in a couple of days, in 2 days, we will be doing, in the morning, we will do Baldur's Gate 3. We'll unlock on midnight of the 3rd. When the clock strikes midnight at the end of the 2nd, which is today. Today is Baldur's Gate 3 release day. In exactly 24 hours, Baldur's Gate 3 will release, and we're excited. I've been waiting for this game all spring and all summer. I'm not going to play it religiously over Rust, I can tell you that. But I am definitely going to play it on Wipe Day when the zombie server inevitably doesn't come up for like 3 or 4 hours. And so it's going to be a nice little squeeze-in thing on Thursday. I'm going to try and play the zombie server, but what I suspect is going to happen, what's happened the last three months anyways, is like a 5-hour downtime. And so I will be playing Baldur's Gate 3 tomorrow morning at 10:45 PST, which is like 2:45 EST. In America anyways, and I will be doing a whole 3 or 4 hour push on Baldur's Gate 3 from either my current save, or if they force me to reset, I'll try to get back through the first act again as fast as I can without wasting any time. I'm going to do a perfect run. I already did a perfect run, and I'm loath to lose my save because I pretty much looted everything I passed You know, everything I saw, I looted, and I spent the time, and I hauled, and I sold, and I really worked on the characters, and I took my choices with the dialogue choices and stuff, and I built a real like verifiable, viable D&D campaign with a viable party to actually survive through to the end boss. And we're gonna make some forward throughput on that, some foray into that. And that's gonna be pretty good. And I am very excited for that. I've been waiting for that a long time. That was $60, and then in a month, Starfield hits, and between Rust and Starfield and Eve Online and Remnant 2, we have the best game year since 2015. It's the right now this month is the best gaming has been since 2015. We've not had this many games that are good releasing all at once in a long time. I mean, what was it? We got Elden Ring last year. We got and DLC's coming for that. I'm gonna have to buy that too. We had this year. We had Remnant 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield. And there's other stuff, crazy stuff coming next year. And also we got Final Fantasy 16 if you're a Sony player. But I mean, I am a Sony player and I have 300 games on my PSN account. But I don't have a Sony PlayStation, so I can't play Final Fantasy 16. And I want to cry when I think about that. But the PC Master Race took a bad loss on this one. Final Fantasy 16 has been out of the rotation now for 2 months while it sits on PlayStation 5 needlessly. And I will wait for the PC port, and I'm sure it'll suck, you know? But I'm sure 16 is a good game. And so when you look at that, that's 5 major AAA titles that have been around in one way or form for the last 20 years, all 5 of them, except for Remnant. It's the only new one. And Remnant isn't amazing, but it's not a bad game. It's definitely not a bad game, I'll tell you that. Remnant, if they were to remove the bosses, Remnant would have been the greatest game ever made, but the bosses totally tanked the game. That's my opinion, that's where I stand on it. I'm allowed to have my fucking opinion if I want. I know that's dismissive, but I feel like a lot of people seem to think they like fighting bosses, but what I think they really are addicted to is the feeling of losing over and over and over again, and the disappointment and the endorphin rush that the disappointment gives you. And I think people actually kind of get addicted to wiping on Dark Souls bosses. And that's what I'm seeing here with Elden Ring and, you know, Remnant 2. So, fun but difficult. Worth a shot if you enjoy looter shooters or Souls-like games. This is a very good, yeah, that's a very good review. People voting 1 without playing the game. The game works just fine. Is 60 to 80 FPS. Do you see the idiots talk? They just don't understand that anybody with a fucking clue has been 144 hertz since 2015. But this guy, he just thinks that 60 FPS is normal or that it's been okay. But no, even the consoles have been like 120 since the Xbox X, you know, at least on some of the games like Fortnite and stuff. It's been 120 for a long time, even on console. So I don't know what this shit about 60 80 FPS is fine. Yeah, yep. Yeah, this is the superior game to Diablo 4, absolutely. So look how nice it looks on a 4090. It's about 96 frames per second, which is really good. Yeah, my God, that shotgun sucks. How is that even a shotgun? It takes like 11 blasts to even kill one guy. That's not a shotgun. It's a pellet gun. The damage isn't too good. I'm just gonna get off Remnant now. But anyways.
And before we get into the weeds of Starfield, I hope I haven't come off too pessimistic or cynical so far. I gotta say up front, I am a Bethesda fan through and through.
Yeah, it shows.
And they've got a great, passionate...
How did you get a Starfield watch and I couldn't? How did you get... Oh, he's got 200 subs. They probably just sent him one. They probably sent him they probably gave him an option to get the Constellation Edition when they sent him his copy of the streamer game, or his streamer key. I want to reach that level at some point, but I also don't need to reach that level. I'm okay with just buying games and staying away from software developers because I don't think me and software developers mix.
Team, no matter how cornball some of them seem, and I really am hoping for the best for them. Like, I loved Fallout 4, even though I know a lot of people didn't, and
I don't know about that. What do you mean a lot of people didn't? Let's just pull the Metacritic for Fallout 4. I'm fairly sure this is like a 91 or something like that. Fairly sure that pretty much it was universally loved by 9 out of 10 people. I'm fairly fucking sure. Let's go look on the PS4. We're going to see an 87 of all time, 6.8 on the user. So yeah, people were kind of unhappy with Fallout 4, yeah. 5.7. Yeah.
I'm probably gonna love Starfield. This is a very ambitious...
All right, guys, I am brain dead, and I'm not providing good content anymore, and I'm very aware, and I'm trickling out, and it's like 5 a.m. on the Eastern Seaboard in the U.S. and stuff, and I've lost my American market, and I think the West Coast is going to bed right now. So I'm going to go to bed with the rest of the West Coast. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging around my stream. Once again, you've been watching Skycat.live, full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background, and I'm going to add a new thing to this, which is for the next 50 years. You know what I'm saying? Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, come click on the cat's face to donate. You cannot donate to me on Twitch or anything else, and if you like what you saw, thank you for donating. Come click on the cat face. I do see that I'm getting donations the last couple of days, which is pretty good, and I'm happy about that because it went. I did go, I think, 5 months without a single donation, and that was cool. So, not cool, but I mean, it was cool. It's cool that it ended, and I know why that was the case. I am not an affiliate of Twitch, so if you guys actually value the free entertainment for shit, I'm gonna buy a friend of mine. I don't know if you're still with me, Steph, but I'm gonna buy you VIP for this server tomorrow. But I have to go to the bank first, and that's tomorrow morning. So, but yeah. And I'll talk to Rick, and I'll have him sign you up for VIP. And then and you can, and don't forget to qualify your kits when the new wipe starts. And you don't feel like you need to use this. I'm just doing it to support the server. It's a gift to you, but it's also, and happy birthday and all that. But it's a gift to you, but it's also to support the server too, which is good.
Big game.
Gonna go for 2 more minutes and stop. It has been almost exactly 14 hours,
That makes a lot of big promises. And there's plenty of good things to be said, especially with this more longer, transparent look into the game. I can tell the game has really leveled up even in just the past year. But with what I've seen so far, I can already get a sense of where I might be let down. Basically, I'm cautiously excited. The Direct starts with something that I think is personally very funny. Did you notice when they show off their games, they pan through all their games and stop right before 76 gets into frame? They're like, nope, we don't need to go that far. Don't bring it up.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't stand Fallout 3, and I only beat New Vegas once, but I've beaten 76 like 7 times, and I think these idiot fanboys are just smoking on that crack. I really do. You want to know why? That. No, the performance is fine. You just don't know how to change high present interval. It's not a reuse of the single player engine whatsoever. Possible hacks, tons of bugs. Yeah, that's true. There was some possible hacks, definitely. Tons of bugs, definitely. He's absolutely right about all that. Yeah, he's absolutely right about that. But this is like the only valid complaint, though. 24 people per server on a giant map. Yeah, he is right about that one. Game tries to cater to PvE players even though there's no real PvE. No real PvE? Oh yeah, I guess so. There is really no PvE really in 76. I never really thought about that. Yeah, but I still don't think it's a 5 or a 3 though. I still think it's like a 6 or a 7. I don't know. But I stand corrected. He was right. 76 left a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Which is weird because 76 has more players than Valorant. I don't know why they hate 76 so much. It's more popular than Valorant. But I mean, it's across 5 different consoles, and it's sold millions and millions and millions of copies. I mean, 76 was not a disaster. Bethesda made a lot of money off 76. I don't know, man. I think the fanboys really just wanted to try and take control of Bethesda's like future, so they just tried to cancel 76. But I mean, 76 is still not a bad game.
Right out the gate, Todd brings.
It's better than 3. It's better than 3, 4, New Vegas, and 1 and 2 combined by far. Shooting's better, game's deeper, it's longer, bigger, more content, a lot more fun, multiplayer. I mean, all the other Fallout games combined don't even add up to 76 in my book. And I guess maybe I'm just a little more grounded in reality than these people.
Brings up one of the most exciting and also
Dude, I'm sorry, but dude, Fallout New Vegas fucking sucked compared to Fallout 4 or 76. It sucked. It was way not as good as 4 or 76, you know?
Concerning points of the game.
That's the problem. These boys, they like, the only reason they can't stand 76 is it wasn't popular in 2004. But 3 was, 4 was, fucking New Vegas was, you know, all these games, all these other ones that were either coming or were already out in 2004. 76 is the only one that wasn't out in 2004. Well, in Skyrim. But I mean, Skyrim and 76 weren't out in 2004. So, you know, but I mean...
Which I'm sure most of you know what I'm referring to, which is...
It's not just one world. It's over 1,000 worlds.
And you know, I understand the hype he's trying to build around this statement. Near unlimited exploration, every player will have a different experience of the game. But saying there's unlimited possibilities for all of these worlds...
Man, maybe I should get a refund on Starfield. I think I probably will. If it comes around on day 1 and I'm an hour in and the frame rate's locked at 30 and there's no iPresent interval hack or anything like that, I promise I will return Starfield. I will not do Starfield in 30 frames per second. I just will not do that.
Worlds is a bit of a half-truth.
And I've been saying this on a lot of videos and comments and stuff, but I was very scared of making that statement on stream because I really wasn't sure. But I mean, like, I'm okay with 30 frames per second if the execution is good, but I suspect that it isn't.
It sounds like most of these planets.
That doesn't look too good to me. That looks like somebody who's in 30 frames per second, which is why he can't move his mouse very fast, or you see the terrible jagged edges of the screen because it's actually in 30 FPS.
Are gonna have
30,
like
fucking 38 or something.
Free possibilities. Land on it, walk around on it, mine it.
Yeah, that's what was wrong with No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is so fucking boring.
Because the planets in the game are going to be majority procedurally generated. Now, no one's discounting how awesome procedural generation technology has come from Minecraft to Valheim to No Man's Sky, but it is a bit of a dangerous technology to play with, where your game can look impressive in a lot of different ways, but remain surface level. It's like
Okay, so this is all I need to hear from him. I know what he's gonna say. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Again, come to skycat.live to donate on the cat space. I must bail now, unfortunately, and I don't want to do this to you guys. I'm so sorry. I don't want to bail at 3 in the fucking morning like some kind of fucking pansy. But I mean, I have wipe day coming up within 2 days, and I've got to flip my schedule, and I can't be doing 4 in the morning and waking up at 11 a.m. So, so I'm going to go. Thank you so much. Click on the cat's face if you wish to donate. I'm not an affiliate of Twitch or YouTube or Facebook. That's the only way to do it. Come to skycat.live. Tomorrow you will see me play some Remnant 2 and some EVE Online, I believe. And I'm going to let Russ go for a whole day. So when wipe day hits, I'm going to be ready and more rested and a little bit less burnt out. I'm going to very much so stay away from Rust tomorrow. I gave my base away so that I wouldn't be tempted. I killed myself at the end, so the guns were on the ground, and I just like got off the server, and I said goodbye in the Discord, and said see you in a couple days, and all this stuff. And I'm not going to let Rust dominate my day tomorrow. I'm not going to. So tomorrow will be probably Overwatch 2, EVE Online, and 76, because I haven't played as much 76 this week as I wanted to, or as much as I had planned to, because there is a new 76 season. And then the next day, I will be waking up at 10:45 to begin the process to try to log in the zombie server for the wipe day. But what I'll probably end up doing is like 4.5 hours to Baldur's Gate 3 while he resets the server. So stay in touch the next couple of days, guys. A lot of good games coming and stuff, We got some good commercials about video games coming and all that stuff. And I love you guys. Take care. Peace.